Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Amar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Michael Fox, founder and CEO of Cor Berry Digital Marketing, a pioneering digital marketing agency focused on scaling home service companies through a proven multi-step marketing system. Michael, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So take me back to before you started Cor Berry. What were you doing beforehand, and then what really motivated you to start the company?
Sure. I was in e-commerce. So from an enterprise standpoint, we were in the home space. We were selling products as a plumbing distributor to consumers directly. And I did that for 17 years. And what I had seen was all of the technologies and softwares were being invested into enterprise levels. And then as we got to COVID, we saw that the NASDAQ was bloated, where we talk about the top marketing 500 index. It exploded to 4,000 to 5,000 software companies. And I saw that as e-commerce kind of started to shift and as COVID came along, we were moving into kind of the digital transformation world for small businesses. I think COVID accelerated that. But in 2019, I had left e-commerce kind of with the vision to start Cor Berry, because in that business, I ended up selling the business in 2014. And then I worked for the major $4.5 billion distributor that I sold to for 5 years on their digital side.
Nice.
And we were serving plumbers and contractors, HVAC. And kind of what we saw was they were very underserved. They never had relationships direct with the manufacturer. And we said, hey, look, these guys need technology. They need websites, and nobody's providing it to them. And then I think in 2019, and as we went through COVID, it just really accelerated that. So while we saw that was the future, I think the same thing for us. We got into this tidal wave where COVID forced that acceleration.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have three of my closest friends. They all own home service companies. One's a painter, one's a GC, one's a gutter cleaning company. They crush their competition because they've dialed in this section. So it's so necessary. I'd love to dive into today with Cor Berry. Who would you say is your ICP? Is it just home services in general? Is there any specific trade that you focus on? And
Yeah,
go for it.
it's narrowed down. Like I think we started being one of the things I learned, we were general, and even at one point, doing all home services, and we've really narrowed it down to HVAC and plumbing. And it
Okay.
just those are the ones that can scale. Those are the ones that can be $1 million a year. And we're now seeing some of them eclipse 250 million a year. So
Wow.
one of the things we had to learn is who has money, who has the ability to grow, and who can technology really take advantage of. And we look at HVAC because everybody needs it and they need it all year long. A painter is outdoors for 3 months. Same thing with roofing, but HVAC is all year long. You need it in two different types of seasons: the air conditioning unit and the furnace system for winter. And the average ticket is probably the key. You can be $15,000 to $20,000 average order tickets. So those are the people that can afford to spend money on marketing.
100%, because they get one client in a month. That makes it more than worth it at that point.
Yeah.
Walk me through, how do you work with these plumbing and HVAC companies? Is it like a month-to-month retainer? What are the different offers and services that you provide? Walk me through that.
Yeah, they're all month to month, but they're all long term. It's not like a one and done type of thing. And then what really separates us, my background is not just 20 years of marketing. It's also I've got a finance degree, so I originally started in finance. And I look at marketing today as purely just numbers.
Mm,
And really what we see today is you've got a lot of agencies, they've got a lot of young guys that really are trained on how to use Facebook, how to use Google. They can buy ads, but they're not really in your business understanding the numbers. And after thousands and thousands of customers and research into the data, what we really learned is that it's marketing is really the operation of the business. So Google and Facebook really work on an algorithm that takes into account how optimized and efficient your business is. So if you're not closing the leads Google sends you, they start to suppress you. If the average ticket isn't high enough on something like Google LSAs, they suppress you down for the person that has it all dialed in. So
Mm,
really what we learned is we've got to really help businesses. And as we were going through COVID, kind of the definition of a chief marketing officer also adapted based on data and then now things like marketing and AI. But really, the goal of we consider ourselves to be fractional CMOs in terms of what we do. We're not just driving traffic and leaving it at your door, but today a CMO is managing the entire customer journey. And
mm,
that's everything from the front end, that customer that we're dragging through with an ad, we're bringing them through your entire HVAC operation. And if that operation doesn't book the leads, doesn't handle price objections, doesn't sell with selling technicians, we're not going to fuel that algorithm. So really our business model further niche down within HVAC to really be a growth partner, I think is what we'd call it.
yeah.
So we're helping them because we'll never spend more than $1,000 on ads if we can't get their business to meet the requirements of those marketing algorithms.
Yeah, that's powerful because you can generate as many leads as they want, but if they can't close it on the back end, what's the point?
Yeah.
Walk me
And then
through.
typically they'll like an HVAC will fire the agency and just go, oh, the agency didn't work. And I think what we've
Yeah,
learned is that's not the case. Most of the time it's usually we're just not fueling the algorithm and then you're spending too much on ads that you really can't afford because your conversion is low and then your average ticket is not high enough.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. So with the idea of the growth partner and the fractional CMO, I've talked to many fractionals in the past, and typically they have a cap in terms of how many clients they can bring on. I'm curious for you, is that similar? How do you approach scalability with your agency? Walk me through your thought process there.
Yeah, it definitely is it is an issue. So we're not going to be an agency that's looking for volume. We tend to see that the bigger ones will do really high level work and they're going to end up driving traffic and then they're not really a partner. And for us, we're a lot more involved. So that means we're not going to have that same growth trajectory. And then also because we're not going to compete in the same market. So if we're in a market like Milwaukee or Chicago, I can't take on more than 1 to 2 clients that they can't overlap. So that means the growth rate is going to be a little bit less, but it also means our services are going to be more involved and more revenue per client because we're just doing more things for them.
100%. And more value that you're providing makes perfect sense. When it comes to client acquisition, so when you're personally looking to bring on plumbing and HVAC companies into your agency, what do you do from a marketing and lead generation standpoint?
Right now, it's primarily Facebook ads would be the main delivery of clients, a lot of authority building. We had tried many other ways, even for ourselves, whether it was we're an SEO expert, but at the same time, SEO is not where our clients are hanging out simply because they're never searching for the problem. They need to see it hitting them in the face. And then they see a video, they see an ad, and then they wake up. And when we started early on, we were doing cold outreach, calling people. And I think they would get mad, tell us off. We were interrupting them in their day. So we learned it's Facebook is when they're not looking for an agency, but we strike a chord with a problem that they have. And then I think they hear that and it resonates. And
Mhm.
then they reach out. So it's right now they end up reaching out to us to get help.
Yeah, inbound is so much better. We spend $500,000 a month on ads. I'm curious for you, what does that funnel look like? Is it a VSL application, book a call? Is it something else? Walk me through that.
Yeah, it's primarily a VSL. It can be a straight video. We have a lot of, I think the lower we go in terms of less difficulty. So things like a marketing checklist, like lead magnets. So we'll do a
Yeah.
marketing checklist. There may be a guide on how to optimize your Google profile. So things that are inexpensive and easy in their minds, they will download that. It will go into a VSL, and then there may be an automation that has probably 3 follow-ups to follow up and get them to book a meeting, an audit, or discovery call. But I think they
Mm.
tend to assume that maybe they can do that. And I think when we give them those documents, I think the goal is they're going to look and go, I understand this now, but I really need somebody to implement for
Yeah.
me. And then they're booking a discovery call.
Got it. So the after the lead magnet or the VSL, they get asked to book a call. I'm curious if you have any setters that call the opt-ins.
We don't. That's the next thing we're doing is looking to add the setter process. So as we scale, it's for me, it's getting out of a
Yeah,
lot of the sales process and then bringing in setters that can help us with us, especially as volume starts to grow.
100%. So are you the one on the discovery calls right now running the
Yeah, right now it's me. So I think that's a problem. I feel like I need to do it to start, and then as we scale, I look and go, I've got to get out of that process.
Fair enough. I'm curious what the thought process is there when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to hiring, anything like that.
It's getting people that can do it better than me. I'm an operations guy. I really enjoy helping people out. But at the same time, again, I'm not a salesperson. So I tend to probably help and take care of people more than selling. And I think that while I think that builds trust, I think also it can be a bottleneck on the sales and closing side of things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially if I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Zone of Genius, phenomenal book. And he talks about that, especially if you're a
Yeah.
founder, you want to stick to that zone where you enjoy it. It's like the Venn diagram where it's high leverage and then you also get a lot of fulfillment from it.
Yeah.
Sounds like maybe sales isn't that piece for you right now.
Now sales is that's my non-comfort zone.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm curious what your vision is. So when you think about where you want to take the company, we can start in the next 12 months and then maybe long-term vision after that. Walk me through, paint me that picture.
Yeah, we're definitely, I think like we perfected what we want to do. We've gone through, obviously, I think we're seeing tremendous transition right now with things like AI and automation. And
Mm,
so I think we've got down the strategy of who we want to be when we grow up or scale. And I think now it's implementing that. But I think now we want to really take that out in terms of what we perfected and actually add volume to it and scale it.
yeah. And when you say scale it, what does that look like for you?
For us, it's hitting the first target, which is becoming a $5 million agency.
Nice. That's awesome.
So going from say 100 clients to the goal is how do we get to 250?
Nice. And what do you think the next steps to make that happen would be?
For us, it's just it's more visibility. Again, it's hiring the right people to help us with that. Again, sales is not my comfort level. And so we're working with a couple different partners and then trying to hire the right people to come in and really just be more visible in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And what we've seen from the market is it's not the best in the business as to who gets the sales. It's those that are in front of you more often. You eventually two, three times, and then you assume that person's the authority in the space. So we've just got to do a lot more of that.
Yeah. Would that look like more ad spend or is maybe more organic content? What do you think the roadmap would be?
Oh, purely all video content.
Nice. Yeah. I'm curious, let's say, because you are at a level where a lot of agencies want to get to, and I have a lot of agencies that listen to this. What would you tell someone that wants to get started in 2025? They have the skill set, but they haven't gotten clients yet. What would your advice be to those agency owners?
Sure. Yeah, because there's thousands. There's no shortage of people looking to do this.
Yeah.
And what I've learned over just say the last probably 5 years, it's all in your brand authority. So branding an authority in the space, whether that's video content, so showing up on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then obviously authoritative sites like, whatever your industry websites are. For me, it'd be like Forbes and some of the contracting sites where I'm putting out content and then showing up at events, speaking, things like that. But those are the things I think that once people figure that out, that's where they can dramatically scale.
Yeah. It's really the initial client acquisition piece. Like, how can
Yeah.
I get that fixed? And then from there, it's a different game. Because if you have that pipeline, then it's like more sales, operations, etc. If you were to go back in time and talk to your younger self and give yourself a piece of advice when you were first starting off? Maybe something you didn't know at the time, but you know now. What do you think that would be?
For me, it'd be exactly that. I would have, like, for me, I'm an operations person, so it's building the systems and everything on the back end and going, hey, let's spend a year doing this and taking it to market. And then you do that and you realize that the guys that are winning or beating you are the ones that really were out there building that authority first. And a lot of times they weren't even experts. They're just doing 30-second Facebook clips. But after you amount, just say 100 of those, you build a massive following. If I did this again, I would do it in reverse order. I would get the traffic and then build the systems in the background.
I think that's phenomenal advice. Like, really validate your offer, see if people want it, and then from there, you can build out the infrastructure. I'm curious with AI and automation, what are you working on nowadays when it comes to that? What are you most excited about? Walk me through that.
Yeah, I'm most excited about AI. Automation's been out for 14 years with Zapier. A lot of our industry, we've got major players like Service Titan. So you have major software companies that really have these operating systems, but everything in terms of interaction with those systems and connecting it to all the tools a contractor has, somebody needs to implement that. And as even digital marketing, some aspects on the lower level will get automated. We see that the future is as people start to adapt, they're going to need someone to implement that. So we kind of view the digital marketing transition becomes digital marketing and automation slash AI, because we're going to have to be the ones that integrate and connect all these tools for clients. So that's just my view of the future as it is today. And we're starting to see that trend start to come in. There's going to be a ton of things and a ton of software thrown at contractors. But again, it comes down to the same problem. They need somebody to help them implement it.
100%. What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
For me, it's basically finding us online, and I think we've got a book a call link on our site. That's the best way to schedule an appointment, or they can email me.
Awesome. And that would be Corberry, corberry.com.
Correct.
Awesome. Any final words before we wrap up?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Awesome. Michael, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go to corberry.com. That's corberry.com. If you're a plumbing HVAC company and you really want to accelerate the growth of your company, corberry.com. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.